Hi everyone, my name is Jovanys and this is my biology final project on the digestive system. I got my information from Human Nutrition by Tammy Stevenson, our OpenStax textbook, The Concepts of Biology, and from YouTube. Digestion is the process of breaking down food into nutrients that the body can use to absorb nutrients and eliminate solid waste. The gastrointestinal tract is a hollow 16-foot muscular tube from the mouth all the way to the anus. The digestive system includes primary organs, which are the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. The accessory organs include the teeth, tongue, salivary glands, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Digestion starts in the mouth, and we have 32 teeth that help mechanically digest our food. We use our teeth also to masticate, which breaks down food for swallowing. Our tongue moves the food from the mouth to the throat, the pharynx. In our mouth, we also have salivary glands that secrete saliva that chemically digest our food, that include mucus and enzymes. Saliva also helps lubricate the bolus. Enzymes are a protein that break down the large molecules into smaller molecules. A healthy person can produce 4 to 6 cups of saliva every day. And in our saliva, we have lysozyme, salivary amylase, and lingual lipase. Lysosome is a key component in the body's innate immune system. It provides the first line of defense in fighting bacterial infections. Salivary amylase digest starch. If you were to leave oatmeal in your mouth long enough, it would start to digest the starch. And lingual lipase digests fat. So after we mix the food with saliva, it is called a bolus. The mouth can also sense taste, temperature, and texture. And we have taste buds on our tongue that can distinguish these 6 basic tastes: bitter, sweet, fat, savory, sour, and salty. So after we swallow the bolus, the bolus goes down our esophagus, and our esophagus is right here, and it moves the bolus to our stomach. In our esophagus, we have this flap right here called the epiglottis, and it's the flappy tissue that prevents food from entering the trachea and to prevent choking. After swallowing, the epiglottis returns to a normal position and allows air to enter the larynx and the trachea. Peristalsis is involuntary muscular contractions that move the bolus down our esophagus. We have an upper esophageal sphincter, but it's not a true sphincter. But right here we have the lower esophageal sphincter. Sphincters, when they relax, they open, and when they contract, they close. If this lower esophageal sphincter isn't working properly, you get heartburn. And I can relate to that because when I was pregnant, I had heartburn almost every single day. So right here we have the stomach. And the stomach receives the bolus from the esophagus through peristalsis. The stomach is made up of 3 layers of muscles that mechanically digest the bolus. I like to think of the stomach as a giant blender that mashes up the food with the muscles. The stomach also has gastric gland cells that secrete gastric juices that chemically digest the bolus. The gastric juices right here are mucosa, which secretes mucus, and that mucus protects the stomach from the hydrochloric acid and the enzymes and from digesting itself. The gastric juices also include parietal cells, and parietal cells secrete hydrochloric acid that activates pepsinogen and destroys bacteria. They also secrete intrinsic factor, which helps in the absorption of vitamin B12. In the stomach, we also have chief cells that secrete gastric lipase that digest fat, and also secrete pepsinogen that digests protein after it's converted to pepsin. Protein digestion starts in the stomach because the hydrochloric acid denatures the protein. In the stomach, we also have G cells that secrete the hormone gastrin that stimulate gastric gland activity and the growth of epithelial cells in the stomach. When the bolus is mixed with gastric juices, it is called chyme, and it has a pH of 2 due to the hydrochloric acid. The pyloric sphincter right here is a very, very strong sphincter that regulates the flow of the chyme into the small intestine. It's very important because you don't want the stomach to dump the highly acidic chyme into the small intestine. In the small intestine is 1 inch in diameter, and it is called small because it's got a smaller diameter than the large intestine. And it's the primary site for digestion and absorption. It's highly folded to increase the surface area, and it has 3 sections. It has the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. The duodenum is 10 inches long. The jejunum is 3 to 5.5 feet long, and the ileum, which is the longest, is 5 to 9 feet long. And the small intestine is made up of epithelial cells that are necessary for absorption. The small intestine has circular folds that include finger-like projectiles that are called villi. And I have up close right here. These are the villi. And surrounding the villi is a single layer of epithelial cells. And right on top of the epithelial cells, we have microvilli. And inside the villi are capillary blood vessels and lacteals, which is part of the lymphatic blood vessel, which is used to absorb fat. The hepatic portal vein carries glucose and amino acids to the liver. The duodenum right here begins in the pylorus, and it gets secretions from the gallbladder and the pancreas that enter the small intestine. The jejunum is the most active site for chemical digestion and absorption. The ileum contains the remaining nutrients that were not absorbed. The ileum is connected to the ileocecal sphincter that controls movement of material to the cecum and prevents backflow from the large intestine. The liver is right here, and the liver is the second largest organ in the body. It processes and stores nutrients, including glucose, fat, cholesterol, and fat-soluble vitamins. The liver synthesizes cholesterol to make bile, which is used to digest fat. The liver also filters and removes toxins from the blood, and the gallbladder, which is right here, stores the bile. The pancreas has exocrine functions that produce digestive enzymes and bicarbonate ions that neutralize the highly acidic chyme in the duodenum in the small intestine. It also has endocrine functions, which include producing the hormones glucose and insulin, which regulate glucose levels. The pancreas also releases the enzymes lipase, protease, and amylase into the duodenum of the small intestine that break down fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. So as the material moves down the small intestine, it goes to the large intestine. And the large intestine is about 5 feet long, and it has a larger diameter than the small intestine. So after the material moves through the ileocecal sphincter, the material consists of unabsorbed water, undigested food, and fiber, and it enters the cecum right here. This mass now is called stool, and muscular contractions are going to push the stool through the cecum, through the ascending colon, the transverse colon, and the descending colon. And then last is the sigmoid colon. And then to the rectum, and finally out the anus. The large intestine extracts water and electrolytes from stool. The large intestine also consists of gut microbia. It's unique for every person. Gut microbia will ferment the unabsorbed material, which is made up of bacteria, other microorganisms, and viruses. Microbes and hosts have a mutual benefit from the ecosystem of the gut microbia. Stool consists mostly of water, bacteria from the gut microbia, and undigested fiber. So right here we have two sphincters. We have the internal anal sphincter, which is under involuntary control, and the external anal sphincter, which is under voluntary control. And this is where defecation of the stool from the body occurs. And there we go. Thank you for watching my video.